each of us speaks every single day, right? And we're speaking out what we call words. It's a vibe, right? Because I can say, hello, 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 hi, right? It's all a different vibe. In Chinese, they actually have the same word, ma, but in 4 different tones is 4 different words. So like ma could be ma could be horse. And so tones are very important. Sound is this essence of what happens before we even can express it into a feeling or words. And some say the silence was broken by the sound that some can hear from far away. It's like animals can hear a vibration or a sound before it trickles down to the person that could be heavily under the influence or almost like in a soundproof room until they get the message. And a lot of the messages that we are speaking out in Western world, in a lot of humanity, those that have been educated, are what we have been taught is truth. And for any of you that have done any sort of personal development, healing work, any sort of learning outside of the system, you will, if you were a really conscientious learner, you will start to realize some of the things you learned in the education process maybe weren't exactly true. They were somebody's perspective. They may have been even a consensus, a small group or a big group or a government's group of perspective that was fed into the educational system. And some individuals that knew almost from the time they ever stepped forth into the education system that they didn't want to be there, that what they were saying never really made sense, it never resonated with them. They were classified, right? They were labeled as, oh, they could be a slow learner, attention deficit, right? They don't want to be here, they can't concentrate, they were the rebel or the black sheep. Like so much of our world has been about division. It's never been about acceptance and loving and respecting each other for where we're at. And as this is being healed, right, as we're starting to see that you and I and every other body on the planet right now is having their own personal experience. And if we believe or choose to believe that every person, and I'm getting rid of that name, but I'm saying it right now, person is really a living, breathing male or female, man or woman, and I'm saying that in the respect that that's how they were first brought into the world. After that, each soul, sentient being, can have an experience of whatever role they want to play, whatever gender they want to be, because there's unlimited possibilities here on this plane. There's unlimited, infinite possibilities. Infinite has a different vibe than unlimited, right? Non-gender has a different vibe than everyone's unique. Everyone's a sentient being. Everyone, and so some of the words that we've been trained to use, like person, have almost a hypnosis to it and a contractual arrangement that you may or may not be aware of. Some of these things we've been hypnotized into, so it's easily like herding sheep. That's why some people you might hear, they talk about the sheep. They're herding them in a different direction. I mean, this is stuff that is part of the real education, the real life experiences, the stages we go through to recognize within ourselves, within our own minds, within our own bodies, within our own hearts, within our own souls, what feels true to us. And then as each of us starts to step into what we're saying about ourselves, about myself and what is true for me, there's always other people that have other 2 cents to, to contribute. And sometimes we make their 2 cents mean they're worthy because they're an expert in their field. They're an expert in their information that they learned. That means nothing relating to your life. Your expertness is what was created in your body, this inner guidance, this inner intuition, this soul's compass, your gut feeling, right? There's this, every one of us that experiences it differently, but there's this awareness, this inner knowing when you're going with what feels true, truly aligned, authentically and integrally one with you. And when it's like, maybe it's like, whoa, but there is this experience. Sometimes you see things, people see things, and they see it, and other people go, do you see that? And they're like, I don't see anything. They're like, did I see that? And so you stop trusting what you're seeing because you're seeing something, but other people aren't seeing that. You're like, did you see that? Did you see that? No, I didn't see that. You didn't see that? No. And when you keep hearing that all these other people don't see that, then you may have been conditioned to grow up believing that, okay, what you're seeing must be wrong, right? Right? Because they're right, wrong. That's that division. When one can trust what you see or what you hear or what you're feeling as truth, and then keep leaning into that, the doors will open to the community and others that come and see it and feel it and experience it the same way. And it may seem you might have to connect all the way around the other side of the world to find that. I guarantee you, as you start to speak into existence the world you wish to be in, because the being is in the now, right? Now, moment. That will be the future, because that's what you're calling into being, because that is who I'm being, and that is what I'm seeing, feeling, experiencing. So a word like resident or reservation has a key pronoun, right? Res. So most of us have been in, if you look in your emergency health orders, which are finally being lifted in most places, you will be termed as a resident. The Indians were put onto reservations. Now the word res really means a thing, okay? So you're a thing. And like one of those questions I ask people, are you a resident or do you live here? Well, I live here. But they've been, in the sense, it's like they what they resonate with is the thing that vibes, right? The res, the thing that innates in them is a vibe. And so that thing that's innate in them is the vibe that you want to follow. And when they realize they're living, or they're a living, breathing woman or a living, breathing man, living, breathing, sentient being, living, breathing soul, whatever you want to experience yourself. And I say living, breathing because I have encountered many bodies that have other energies working through them. They're receiving another communication. And so if the soul is in the body, and I'm still using that, if the soul is in the body, right, then it has to be fully in the body, and sometimes there's other spirits that are doing that. But if you can connect with the fact, and that's another whole other conversation for some, that you're receiving a vibe. And so when you're receiving a vibe, just like tuning into the radio station, if you're on the, Joy 100 station, you're in that vibe, and that is your experience. When you turn it over to the woe is me, and I used to think that's all country songs were, like, oh, the story, she went out and left me. That's a different vibe. So you can listen to the different vibes, and you're experiencing the different vibes in your body. So sometimes I have experienced, it feels to me like that vibe that's coming through someone's body is like, it's like a dad vibe, or it's like a out of this world vibe. Like it just is like got no life in their eyes, right? You know, when you see kids' eyes and they're like poof and they're like lively, or some other, very connected individuals, and you feel this presence, you feel it, you see it, you hear it. It just is. So in our words that we speak, do you know what you're saying? So those that continue to prophesize about what's coming in the future that they don't want to have, why are they prophesizing? Oh, because you need to know your enemy. What benefit is to know your enemy if you're still unaware of what you're guided to do in this moment? If you're unaware of what's going on in this experience of your body and in your vibration? Because all you have is right now. So when you can trust that what you have right now, you'll take the correct step for yourself, and the words that you'll speak will be a completely different vibe. Governments never gave you your rights and freedoms. You were born with your rights and freedoms. This is the purpose of life. The purpose of life is to be in the moment and to allow your heart's desires to come forward and to notice what you notice and release what you don't want. It's like trying a new ice cream cone and then you go, oh, well, I don't like that flavor. Never again. And yet we've been trained and educated to be certain ways. And even in personal development and spiritual development, we were trained to be certain ways. And as each of one of us can trust that our experience is perfect for us, and that is the training, that is the experience, because as you convince yourself, I convince yourself, your whole world changes. Your words change. Your beingness change. So if you're still speaking the same lingo and the same language, and you're doing the same things you were doing last year, before the 2020, 10 years ago, then that's where you're at. You're still in the same repetitive movie. Life is changing all around you. It always is. And noticing what you're noticing, which is in how you're being, and the being comes through in the vibe and the words that you're speaking, is a good indicator to look here. And as one looks here, right? As one looks within, you discover the battle, the so-called World War III, is in the mind. Because there's infinite possibilities. Infinite possibilities. And yeah, there was definitely a possibility over here that's happening as we're healing the wounds of pedophilia and child trafficking and the abuse to our original people that were on the lands before the colonialization and the monopolization of the, started here in Canada and of Christian beliefs, right? Then we're like, oh, as variety and other nationalities, we're still dividing and conquering, right? We're still dividing. Think, is one right, one wrong? And those of us that have been on this journey for a very long time keep saying it's a melting pot. It's a melting pot. We're all unifying. And so if that is your vision, if you really want to unite, if you are really uniting, that is the vision of the awakening. The awakening is uniting within yourself. You're uniting that you can trust and believe that everybody's in the right space at the right time. And it's all happening for the greater good, that we're healing ancestral wounds and we're projecting, in a sense, into the future of the world we want. And we're doing it right here and right now in the words that I speak and you speak in this moment and every moment. So I am that I am. Moses asks, what's God's name? I am that I am. So I am, as you speak, you are. So that's why spirits of fear and judgment and shame and guilt and blame all have to be healed, because I had them, right? They were like best friends for me. all these things, unworthiness, right, that people talk about, oh, whatever, all that stuff has to be healed. So you realize you are created here. Poof, you're having the experience because you're here to have the experience. This is your big, huge video game. This is your unified field of possibility. This is infinite opportunities to experience life in integrity and honor of what you feel truly aligns with your soul's purpose, with what you set out to envision and create. And so for me, it is that everybody has their best whole new world, that everybody has that ability to know that. And in the journey, you trip and you fall just like a child learning to walk. And you can make that experience be the traumatic one, that I can never do it again. I can never take another step again because I fell and I cracked my tooth and I lost my tooth, or I had this experience. Or in a sense, you get up on the bicycle and you ride again. It's different for each one of us. And in the experience, there is another experience. Each experience is a gift on how we want to perceive it. Sometimes what we consider a failure or a fall or a flaw is the biggest gift that we've ever been given. I know I've had a lot of those experiences. And if I hadn't had all those experiences of so-called going the wrong way, I never would have come to peace within myself. So that so-called wrong way, was it really wrong, or was it the right way for me to, unlearn, to see myself fully as I was capable of seeing myself at any given moment in time? Because that changes. Later I'll go, oh, gee, I said that, or I did that. Ooh, right? It's a constant motion, just like the tide comes in and goes out. Things are revealed to me and things are washed away from me. Blessings are brought to me and things are released. It's an ebb and a flow and a trusting the process. So if you need help trusting the process, there's always, you can read my book, Trusting Your Intuition, Discover Your Superpower in 10 Days. You can reach out if you just feel like you've been stuck, like you're constantly hitting, in a sense, a brick wall, right? And we can do a breakthrough session. And if you really have a chronic illness, that you have been owning as yours, people that just say, oh, I just have this. I have this. I got this. My parents had this. I had this. It's just what I have. And they've never, ever been given the opportunity to say, do you want it? No, but is what, the but is how I say, but as the but is the smelly stuff, right? It comes after that. And so if you truly are ready and want to have that complete health transformation, right? To realize that you're moving in a new paradigm now. The awakening is that you realize you're the center of your universe and that you have health, wealth, love, peace, joy, and it's here right now. And that's the vibe. And the words you speak come out accordingly. Notice the vibes that people speak. Notice what you listen to. Are you listening to the doom and gloom, or are you listening to the airy fairy, right, that you think is way too airy fairy, right? And you need something in the middle. So that's just part of the journey, is noticing what you notice. Breakdown leads to breakthrough. And this could be your day. If you have found this video, right? And it could be that moment, or it could just be the seed, because sometimes that's all we're doing. We're seed planting, and eventually, the seeds grow. Everybody has the right timing. Trust it. Trust it. Your superpower is inside you. There is never any other person in the whole world that can tell you what's best for you. It's between you and your inner guidance, your source creation, your I am presence. And as you just go with what feels true to you, and you love and respect others for what they're doing and what they're guided to do, whether they're under the influences you think that they're doing all the things wrong, that's what they're going through in order to get to where they need to be. If I didn't do all the things that I did wrong, I didn't have all those experiences, I would never be in the space where I am with complete freedom, trust, and joy, and health, and love, and peace, and wealth, and know that every moment gets better and better. How does it get better and better? It just does, because that's the world that exists. Your best whole new world is waiting for you. Lots of love. Enjoy the journey.